It's finally game week here in Boulder. Have lost track of how many preseason practices in. Now it's counting down the days until kickoff, and we're getting there.
Yeah, we are getting there, and you and I have mentioned it, but like after 9 months of talking, it's like I just want to see this team play football. Trevor Woods walked by us a minute ago, and I said that to him. He goes, "Same way." He goes, "I'm ready to just play a football game," and I think everybody's just anticipating. We just want to see what this product looks like. I mean, we've been so excited to see this team come together that let's see it actually on the field, and I think that's what's exciting about this week is like let's just finally see it.
Get this out of the way. Some bad news that came down after we recorded our last video on Friday with Tyler Brown announcing that the NCAA had denied his appeal to be eligible to play this year. I think the video is about 15, 20 minutes long. I recommend everybody watch that video. And if you have a heart, you're going to be heartbroken at the end of it. But it's important that he was able to share that message. And I understand the NCAA has to kind of correct the fact that they were giving too many waivers out before, and now they've completely gone to the other side. And again, there's no way you could watch that video and tell me that this young man doesn't deserve to play football this fall.
Yeah, and with Tyler Brown, I go back to an interview I did with him in December in Atlanta, and he talked to me about. I was talking to him about Deion, Coach Sanders or Coach Prime's team, and he was telling me how he felt this anxiety last year when he first got to Jackson State, and he wasn't playing well early in the year because he's like, I've got to protect my coach's son at quarterback, and he was just feeling this anxiety. Coach Prime could see it, called him into the office, and they started meeting every Thursday. And he said that was such an impactful thing for me, and that's what got me to be an All-American last year at the FCS level. And he needs something like that. And so to have that taken away, it is heartbreaking. And to Coach Prime's credit, I think he was asked about it today, and he kind of paused. He said, "I've got two sides to me. One saying, 'Shut up, coach.' The other one saying, 'Just go at it.'" He goes, "I'm going to go at it." And he really defended Tyler Brown and really kind of hit the NCAA with like, hey, if you're going to talk about mental health of these athletes, how can you deny a kid that's got legitimate mental health things, and you're going to deny the one thing that like really helps that in his life, taking football away from him. And so I credit Coach Prime for calling out the NCAA on that, because they should be called out. I mean, This is one of those situations. There's a lot of them that players are transferring just whatever they're trying to play. I get that, but this is a situation where Tyler Brown needs football.
Without him, their starting offensive guards on Saturday were Jack Wilty and Landon Beebe as well. You've got Jack Bailey, as this bee harasses us, offensive guard. Yeah. They have three capable guys in there, but Tyler Brown would have given you quite a bit of depth at that group.
Yeah, Jack Bailey in there as well, Jack Wilty, Landon Beebe. But yeah, when you have four guys you can depend on in that interior, I think you feel a lot better. And I think Tyler Brown's a guy that we've penciled in as a starter all offseason, right? And he was with the first team during the spring. And so to lose that from a football perspective is a big deal. But to have the young man not be able to play football is an even bigger deal. But yeah, depth-wise, I feel good about the three they have, but you would feel a lot better if you had Tyler Brown there.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you tweeted something out that Tyler Brown could potentially apply for a medical hardship down the road to get this year back.
Yeah, I think I think he's got that ability, because he had that his last year, 2021 at Louisiana, he played one game and then had an injury and missed the rest of the season. And so I think he can get that hardship, because obviously 2020 doesn't count, that season. Then he redshirted 2019. And so I think that he can still apply and get that hardship if he wants to. But if he doesn't get it, he's only got next year left. But he could potentially have 2 more seasons left, I believe.
I asked Coach Prime today about the star position. That's a position that Coach Kelly talked about how important it is. Obviously, having that versatile piece in this day and age of college football is key. And Coach Prime mentioned that Miles Slusher is likely to be the guy there. He played some in the nickel role at Arkansas and seemed to play well in that role. So I didn't know, maybe Jacquez Robinson would be a candidate there as well. It'll be interesting to see how that position performs with Miles Slusher sounding like being the leader in the clubhouse going into the opener.
Yeah, and he's a guy that had several starts at Arkansas, has played well at times. Jaquez, I wonder, he's missed a lot of camp. We've seen him not participate in a lot of camp, so I wonder how healthy he is right now. That maybe a couple weeks into the season, when he's back up to speed, maybe he pushes more for that spot. But I like either one of those guys. I mean, you have athletic safety type guys that can run, that can hit. Both those guys can do those things. So Miles Slusher, if he plays like he did at Arkansas at times, that's a pretty good player in that spot.
Down the road, Jaden Milliner-Jones, I think, is going to be an excellent player for that star role. He looks the part already as a true freshman and as a guy that I'm surprised he didn't have more recruiting looks. He was committed to SMU until Coach Prime came here and flipped him late in the process. Not probably going to be a big player in terms of the defense this year, but also I think a special teams guy from the jump.
Yeah, and he's part of that freshman class that I think we hit on some of the guys every now and then, but there's so much focus on the transfer for this team that I think people forget how good the freshman class is. Yeah. And obviously Dylan Edwards, Cormani McClain, guys like that, but you've also got guys like Carter Stoutmeyer and Jaden Milliner-Jones are like, well, those are pretty darn good football players, and so I love this freshman class, and Jaden's part of that.
Yeah, Omarion Miller as well, a receiver that they had a really good batting average with this freshman class, and Dylan Edwards is going to be have the spotlight shined on him on Saturday.
You got a couple quarterbacks too that hopefully you hit on at least one of those guys where they're going to be your starter at some point down the road. But 5 or 6 receivers they brought in that freshman class, and so yeah, that's a pretty good class.
You mentioned Carter Stoutmeyer being a guy that Coach Prime mentioned today. He's another guy that I don't think has been talked about enough because of Cormani McClain being a 5-star recruit. His father, Omar Stoutmeyer, played in the NFL, played with Kevin Mathis, played with Coach Prime, was a safety in the NFL. So he's got that pedigree as well.
Yeah, he does. And so you look at the cornerback position, 2 true freshmen come in. Cormani McClain's rated the #1 corner in the country. And then Carter Stoutmeyer is a nice player, a 3-star that was committed to Arizona, I believe, and then flips. And so you think Cormani is the guy, but as we're going right now, Coach Prime was asked point blank, who is that other guy outside of Travis? And he said, it's either Amarian Cooper, the Florida State transfer, or Carter Stoutmeyer, and he goes, basically it might be whoever gets off the bus first. That's how close it is. And so clearly Carter Stoutmeyer, we've seen it in the videos. He appears to be having a very good camp. He's a good player. I mean, I like the frame that he has and just the plays that he's made. I know they're not showing everything, but you watch him throughout camp. You're like, wow, that's a pretty darn good corner there. And Cormani, once he gets up to speed, I think that's going to be a really good duo.
All right, just one more day of media availability here at Colorado. We'll be back to share some more thoughts, and then we'll be heading off to Texas.